Welcome back to Eintracht Frankfurt, the Bundesliga podcast covering everything there is to know in the English language about Eintracht Frankfurt, the greatest Bundesliga podcast, now showing you the ugliest faces in the game with the finest commentary to follow, I promise. You might be listening to this, you might be watching this. That is up to you. It is the month of Halloween, so it might be a little scary on your screen, but don't worry. It only gets better with our commentary. So we're going to jump right into this. Garret, hit us off with some baseball. I know you want to talk it. What's happening here in the great state of Michigan?
All right. Happy at the time of recording this, a little after 9 o'clock, Monday, October the 6th. I'm trying to get my days right here.
Hurry up.
It's October the 7th. But last week we were energetic as fuck because it was before Detroit Lions Monday Night Football game. Chris and I's beloved Detroit Tigers, after an abrupt game one, took on the best closer in Major League Baseball in Cleveland. 3-run dinner, 3-0 win. Series 1-1 coming back to Comerica Park, which hasn't hosted playoff baseball in 10 years.
Literally nobody cares. Let's go.
Let's
John,
go. Happy Monday.
How are your Marlins doing? Oh, wait.
Oh, yeah. Fun.
Hey, time out. Congratulations to John. I raised this glass. Jacksonville Jaguars off the bucket in the NFL season. Congrats.
Well, you know
there
what?
You
Both are cursed in Jacksonville. I don't think they've beaten us in Jacksonville in over a decade now. So it was bound to happen and barely squeaked out the win. So I'll take it, though. Victory Monday, finally.
Let's fly north where Matt's teams can't do anything right. Matt, welcome back to the podcast. Your Yankees are struggling right now, but they're still up in this series. Is there anything positive outside of the Eintracht world you want to talk about?
Going to the Jets-Bills game on Monday night, so hopefully can pull that out of their ass. And Josh Allen cannot win in MetLife, so...
Yeah, the Jets have never let down the hopes of their fans. You're going to be just fine.
Oh, that's fine. They'll go right to week 14. I'm gonna get crushed, but I'm not there yet. I'm waiting for Monday night. I always go with all of my buddies who are all diehard Bills fans, and it's so fun to have the last laugh every time. So, and who knows?
And they're all about that stadium takeover too. But once you guys, take care of business at home,
doesn't really happen as much. Didn't happen last year. I don't think it'll happen again this year. But maybe I'll go to the Yankee game Friday night. But my bank account may say otherwise.
So we put it off long enough, guys. There's been a lot happening in the Eintracht land this weekend. Let's start with the women real quick. We can't dwell on this because Dotson decided nobody needs to watch this in the United States. We're not going to put up a feed. Eintracht Frankfurt 3, Essen 1 on the road. John, you do a lot of research on this. I haven't seen a replay yet. You got anything for me?
I haven't been able to watch anything from the game. I know that we were down 1-0 at halftime due to a penalty. And then, overall just kind of dominated the game. Ended up getting 3 goals in the second half. Fragang with a brace. It was always great to see. The stats were super heavily in our favor. 73% possession. 21 shots, 11 on target compared to their 2 on target. It looks like a pretty comprehensive performance from the team. Essen is never a team to take lightly, and the women pulled it out. Great victory, and keeps second in the league for now.
Yeah, I'm going to take that because Fragang has been we've been waiting for her to return to that form where she's involved in the match even when she's not scoring goals. Well, now the best way for her to pick her game up is scoring goals. So I think that's a good thing. Anyone else with anything on that one? Not trying to gloss over it, but, until we can see anything, this is the bullshit we have to work with. Stats.
I saw the highlights on the Eintracht Frankfurt's website, had a brief little 5-6 minute highlight video of it. Essen with the penalty early, and then Eintracht, the Frauen, had to do a couple goal line clearances in the matchup, which Dino's lads need to take notes on how to properly clear a ball off the goal line. You watch this match on Sunday because they showed well. But as you guys were saying, Laura Fragang coming out. Geraldine Reutler, I need to give her a shout out because we've seen her play in more of an advanced role, I feel like, this year compared to last year. And another goal, being involved in the attack, causing some issues. seeming to link well with Laura Fragan. So I'm just glad that we were able to go to a difficult place that we lost at last year, fall behind, and yet take over a game and win. It's a step in the right direction, and it's not the typical longish diva after such a monumental win last weekend.
Yeah, that's right. After beating Wolfsburg, I wouldn't say it was, a prevalent idea, but there was a thought in the back of the mind just based on the last couple of years that could lead to a meltdown on the road. But taking care of business, still sitting in second in the table, 13 points to Bayern's 15. And, 5 matches into the year when there's only 22 to play, that's a good sample size at this point. So solidly there at 13 points, tied with Leverkusen, ahead on the goal differential by a mile, 8 goals. So certainly set up for a good situation there. The Frauen next match is next Monday, which should be on Dotson if they get their shit together, but maybe it'll be next Monday, the 14th at home against Freiburg, which is featuring Shakira Martinez right now. And she's played really well for them, a role that we wanted to see her have, get an opportunity to play more time somewhere. So good for her. Again, no hate on the Frauen, but until they allow us to watch, not a lot we can do here. Gentlemen, let's talk about the men's team. This one we did see. I think the whole world saw this. Matt, give me your initial take on this one. Going up against Bayern, we didn't get to talk to you last week. What were your thoughts going into it? I know now you're going to be like, oh, yeah, I knew we were going to score a lot of goals and play real well. But
dude, I totally predicted a 3-3 game. Come on. I was in the cards.
How'd you feel going into this?
My overreaction is I think Marmouche, Etikite, and Larson may be a better trio than Rebic, Haller, and Jovic. And that's early to predict, but I think running Marmouche is on, and I think once he kind of drops off, I think Ekitike will be able to pick it up, and I think are definitely able to follow up with that as well. But I don't know, boys. We look dangerous, and this is just giving me so much hope on, like, obviously repeat of winning Europa League and, making a run in the Champions League next year if we keep everybody. But I feel like our defense is solid. I feel like Tuta has been the player they've been in need for the past 2 years now. He's finally pulling it through. Robin Koch is just fun, and I mean the Viking himself. Christensen's just a stud back there. I mean,
he's
top
got
to
great
bottom
vision for that long ball.
Yes, he always looks for it too, and it makes sense. But if you have somebody as tall as Hugo up there, I mean, may as well make it work. But I love it, boys. I really,
John,
really do.
I take issue with something Matt said. I mean, first of all, we lost the possession battle 75% to 25, and it was worse than that at halftime. But I take issue with Matt's point about solid defense. I didn't like the play in the box. I thought we struggled clearing the ball, but also it's when you let Bayern sit around and pass the ball around 30 yards out, eventually your defense is going to collapse on itself a little bit. John, is this one of those things where our midfield is weak that we've talked about, or is just a situational thing with Bayern being so intense in their possession?
Yeah, I think a little bit of both. I think we did a good job of limiting the amount of chances that Bayern had in the box. Obviously, on those 2 corners, they took them really quickly, and we were not prepared for them at all. And just no one knew how to get the ball out of there on those, and they put them in the back of the net. But yeah, I thought Skiri in particular, I think that face mask is really messing with him because he did not look on his game at all. Just kind of letting guys get by him, not being able to control the ball well. And that allowed them to get some chances in the box. Obviously, Santos stood tall for the most part. Obviously, that save on Thomas Muller when he came in was incredible, and made a couple other great saves on Elise and Coman later in the game. Yeah, I think putting in Dahoud at halftime for Skiri helped a lot. Obviously, Elise kind of took his lunch money on his goal, but still, the midfield it needs a little bit more beefing up. I think hopefully if Skiri can come back without the face mask, he can be the player he was at Köln, because he was incredible for them for so long. And then, of course, Oscar Højlund will come back from injury at some point, and excited to see what he can bring there as well.
If I can rightfully disagree here.
Yeah. Defend yourself.
Bayern literally, I mean, if there's anything that we've learned from a Pep Guardiola system, that like possession doesn't really matter. And you know, Vincent Kompany is kind of bringing in that Pep Guardiola playing style that he, you know, played with at City, was successful with it in Brussels, in the Belgian league, and, you know, now is being pretty good with it at, you know, Bayern and stuff. I mean, they had 80% possession when they played Aston Villa in the Champions League. They had probably like 80% possession against Leverkusen, and, you know, they had 80% possession against us in all 3 games. They didn't even win out of it. So possession
it leaves them really susceptible at the back. They get countered more than anyone else I've seen this year.
And I think that's the thing too. Yeah, like Bayern are great, and I think I'm going to lean a little bit towards Matt on this, is because when you listen to like Hugo Larsson post-match with Archie, who, by the way, Archie, great jacket, for those that watch the ESPN coverage, Hugo Larsson, Dino Topmuller, they knew they weren't going to have the ball. Dino felt like the team sat back a little too much and let Bayern soak in. But if anything, what this match shows is when you look at the goals conceded by us, I would say it's more of Bayern just have a much higher situational IQ than our squad currently. When you look at the type of goals that we gave up, it wasn't the ball and the shots and open play. We gave one of them, but it was Bayern win a corner, short corner, 2 people run. That's I'm thinking of the second goal. You got 2 people running at the guy at Kimmich, who then creates a gap in space. And then I think Skiri is supposed to stay at the near post, doesn't move it. So then all you have to do is just have the Benny Hill music as we're trying to stop that second goal. And that happened to us twice. But Alejandro Moreno seems to be the most like despised commentator person in our group on there. But he made a good point about Bayern, and I think, Matt, you said it as well. The way Bayern are so aggressive with their fullbacks, they leave their 2 center backs parallel to each other deep. And when you have incredibly fast forwards, as we do with Omar Marmoush and Hugo Ekitike, who are on one, you're going to get goals if you get the opportunities. 4 shots on target, 3 of them as goals. And for Bayern's sake, maybe they're lucky that Christensen, Baldo, and Mbembe wasn't spot on perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Junior Mbembe set the record for the longest assist by a header in the Bundesliga.
Yeah.
I mean, that's against Bayern out of all teams. Like, that just kind of shows how open their back line is when they'd have like their whole midfield, like Kimmich and whoever the guy with the P name is. I don't even care.
Upamecano. Yeah. And then they took Upamecano off for Eric Dyer. I mean,
no, I was thinking of him, Pavjovic or whatever it is, the midfielder. Like, once those guys are so far up and exposes, you know, Ming Jing and Upamecano.
Yeah.
I didn't really understand.
Go ahead, John.
I was just going to say, I didn't really understand why Bayern was continually targeting Jonathan Tah over the summer either, because their issue with their center backs is they aren't fast enough to defend the counter. We saw that on all of our goals today, obviously on the Christensen to Mbembe that probably should have been in. They need faster center backs with a little bit more awareness back there. It's definitely a big weakness for them.
Nah, keep the center backs in there. Fuck that. Let them lose. What are we giving them advice for, boys? This is a Frankfurt podcast.
But in stoppage time, too, what worked to our benefit is you would think teams would want to wrap it up defensively, stick another guy behind there like one of your fullbacks, but they put Davies out like he's a left left wing, and that just opened the door because you put 3-4 people around him to win a ball, and like you said, get a Mbembe in space and a header. John, to your point, that was Ellis Skiri's worst game he's ever played in an Eintracht Frankfurt shirt. In my opinion, I think he needs to rest up the thing. Right now, it's either Mo Dahoud or you put Mario Götze in right now for a little bit until he gets going in there. I would put Dahoud in there just because I think Dahoud offers a little bit more of a spine while having some of that vision. But
I thought Dahoud did well, but we also questioned him the last couple of weeks too. So I think like that was a good one for him and a confidence booster. I thought it was interesting to your points about the back line from Bayern, just how we weren't just, getting one guy to run up the middle on these. We were spreading them out. That Ekitike goal, I mean, that wasn't a short pass. None of this was just one guy with speed. It was spreading the ball out and spreading that back line out more thin than they can handle. And the Abimbe header, like going over the top of the guy. I mean, there's some brilliant still shots of him upside down, but still trying to look at the ball as it's going. Just a fantastic play.
I mean, it's crazy. And I think Rasmus Christensen, I think not only his, like, you know, ability or wanting to, you know, hit the long balls across the box every time when he's up there, but I think it's just passion too. Because I don't know if you guys could tell after that second goal, he's just pumping his chest. Like, that's what kind of fans we are, like, in the middle of the game, you know, like that's awesome to see.
Guys, we're 23 minutes. Go ahead, Garrett.
I was going to say, I think it's funny because he's wearing number 13. He looks like Hinteregger, and he's passionate like Hinteregger. He is the Danish Hinteregger.
It's the 13. It's a thing.
Point.
We are 24 minutes into this, and we have not said the word Santos one time. I mean, this match could have been 5-2, 5-3 Bayern, 6 goals maybe, if Santos does not come up with some outstanding saves. We saw it last week against Besiktas. I fucked the name up again. The guy has reach. I mean, his wingspan, some of us saw it in person down in Louisville. His wingspan is longer than his height. I mean, the guy is a monster. What he has in height too is that vision to see over some of that traffic in front. Yeah. And I think that we saw that a lot when Bayern was getting a lot of traffic there. Some of those balls over the top were marked for the corner, and he got just a fingertip on it. And not just fingertip, like speaking as a former keeper, not just a fingertip, the front arm, the strong arm. Because if he gets that with the back arm, his arm's bending backwards and that strong ball is in the net. So there is something to that. His mechanics are excellent. He's making very good case. I'm not going to say it yet. I kind of talked about it on Discord, but it is Kevin Trapp's job to lose. But I think what we're seeing is that Kevin doesn't have to rush back. We're in a good place. Exactly. Take his time, get healthy. And, you know, with where we are in the table, we're not injured because of that. Guys, talk about Santos. How important was that?
I think also, too, the fun thing for me real quick is that one save he made out where Bayern had 2 guys that broke out. Might have been at 1-1 or 1-0 Bayern. And Santos basically rushed out Neuer style and basically did like a hockey goalie kick save. Mm-hmm. Like just the vision of that. Now, do I agree, like, some of his, like, footwork and reading long-distance shots needs to be improved? Yes, but he's also 21, 22. This is his first big run of matches in the high-level European competition. Reps and repetition on there. But I think he's taken to this a little bit more than I'm not as scared as I think he might have been at first. Is he perfect? No, but he's pretty damn good right now, and I'll take that.
I agree with you guys. The only issue I have with him is his decision making as well. Like, I think, like, especially like there's like 2 or 3 punts towards the end of the game against Bayern where I'm like, dude, I get it where you want to get the long ball. Marmouche is in 1-on-1, he's on fire and stuff, but like we just scored a 3-on-3 goal, like 3-3 goal. Like Bayern can easily do something and like later on like that, like catch the ball, dramatically fall on your knees, wait a couple seconds, and then get up and then distribute the ball. Like,
but he also wasn't good with a short distribution either. And you know, playing catch with his defenders in the box, he looked very uncomfortable and rushed.
And when we were also possessing the ball on our own end, when he was distributing it, he did not look comfortable whatsoever. Like he looked, you know, he was flailing around, you know, like that's the one time where you don't want your wingspan to show. But I mean, listen, he's had 3 starts, you know, he's, you know, had like a decent save ratio. I think he's only let in like 5-6 goals right now in this 3 games. I mean, Victoria Pilsen game, you know, we'll just brush that under the rug, whatever, you know, but this was definitely a good, like, balanced game where it's like, okay, like, you know, you're back into like the pecking order where like, okay, you could be something, but he's 20, 21. So He's definitely got a bright future for us. That's for sure.
John, your thoughts?
No, I completely agree. You know, the distribution was the thing. Yeah, that long ball attempt to Marmouche at the end, I think that's what allowed, I forget who it was, whether it was Mueller or someone else, after Bayern got the ball back because the pass went right to them, that shot right on that left corner where Christensen was like diving in, but Santos was able to make this stop, because that easily could have been in. And, you know, you just don't give the ball back to them easily. You know, just control it. Kill the clock. Don't let them have that opportunity. But he was incredible. Obviously made some amazing saves. I think that early save on Elise, it was in like the first 10 minutes, shot outside the box and just reached up, hit it right over. Absolutely perfect save. You know, and he did that game.
Give me a effed up stat of the week.
Real quick before fucked up stat, you guys were talking about passion and celebrating goals. How about all that team running over at the 3-3 equalizer, including Dino Topmuller?
Yes. He was on top of the pile.
Yeah.
Shout out, another sharp turtleneck. Fucked up stat time. Omar Marmouche has now contributed either goals or assists to the last 8 Bundesliga goals scored by Eintracht Frankfurt.
It's a hot man.
And 2 out of 3 against Besiktas too.
Yeah.
Is he going out for international duty this week?
Yeah, he'll be called up by Egypt.
Can we cancel his flight and just wrap him in bubble wrap? Really, I mean, what he's done has been outstanding. We're going to talk more about stats after the break, but that is just unbelievable. Any last thoughts on this one, Matt?
We may fucking win the league.
He's happy.
We may win the fucking league. I don't know what it is.
That's what we're going to talk about in segment 2. So get your drinks ready. Garrett, any last thoughts on this one?
What a difference. We've seen 2 3-3 draws. Our last 2 games at the Waldstadion in all competitions have been 3-3 draws. How fucking different does this 3-3 feel compared to the last one? Which tells you that this sport is a weird motherfucker. And also, last night, I bought a Schwartz, a Weiss, and a Rote turtleneck. So, Dino, nice job.
Yes, bringing the turtleneck back. Did you have to find those like a vintage shop, or do people actually still make them?
JCPenney online, baby. It's arriving to my house.
That's vintage.
This week.
That's vintage.
John, any last thoughts?
Yeah. One last thought I had was, I think that the Ekitike's foot injury kind of slowed him down this game. Obviously, he did a good job on the goal, but there were a couple other times where he was running at their defense and just not able to break away in the way that he's been able to in the past. Hopefully it's nothing too serious. I don't think he's going to be called up by France, he goes and plays for their U21s this break. I don't know, but I think he needs a little bit of time to get that foot healed up just so he can be back to full speed.
Yeah, I agree. My final thoughts on this one is that I love the effort the guy showed clawing back and taking a point. It was when it was 2-1. I think we all honestly knew that that's not good enough to beat Bayern, especially the way that we were sitting back. So the way we gave up the lead and then fought back makes me think we're in store for good things. These guys won't be out of many matches this year. My one concern is the amount of goals being allowed. We're relying on the offense to score a ton of goals. Just taking this one out of the equation. You talked about the 3-3 matches. Like, that's a lot of goals to give up. I don't like it. But yet our defense, like Matt said, it is good. And Tuta is controlling things back there. And that line is aggressive. So I think we're in good shape to compete here, but we're going to talk a lot about that in the second half because we don't have a match to look forward to. So before we talk about more things and dream about what might happen in May, Matt, we haven't talked to you in a while. You just celebrated a wedding. Congratulations to you.
Okay.
We are very proud of you and very sorry for your wife that she has to put up with you, but no, all seriousness, congratulations to you. I'm sure you celebrated with champagne. What else have you been drinking lately?
Oh yeah, well we had Fiddlehead IPA at the wedding as well, so that was a good mix over there. But the one beer I definitely want to talk about, which I had Saturday, golfing up here in the great Saratoga County area. It's a beer company called Breed or Dog Breed Brewing. Phenomenal IPAs, cool like little like Jack Russell on the can, green and white, like very aesthetic. It kind of fit the golf, background with the greens and everything like that. So they definitely get a shout out.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Garrett, what's the last flavor of Faygo you drank?
Currently this Faygo Cola that I have here. So shout out to that.
I called the shot like Babe Ruth there. You like that?
Yeah. I did go to after we got done recording live, recap the Adler Europa. I drove down to Toledo, and watched AEW, and I had my first Yingling in a long time, and I must say, that's probably one of the best reasons. If you ever need to go to Ohio, that's a good reason.
That's probably the only reason to go to Ohio, if we're being honest.
Not to watch the Tigers win in Cleveland, but that's another time for that.
Different podcast.
Yep.
John, what about you? Anything good lately? How was your trip with the DC crew?
Yeah, so yesterday I watched the game with EFC DC. We were at a small bar in Fairfax, Virginia. Had a couple IPAs there. Had a Northern Lights by Star Hill. It was pretty tasty. But right now, just got some decaf coffee.
That sounds like an oxymoron. With decaf coffee.
It's a little late.
It works. I am still on my baseball kick. As 3 of the 4 of us have a team in the playoffs still. I'm drinking this. Actually, my last beer run had 4 beers that were based on baseball names. I got like a Rally Cap. I got a couple other good baseball reference beers. This one is literally the most baseball name I've ever seen on a beer, and it actually is really good. Out of Evil Genius Brew in Philadelphia, it's called "There's No Crying in Baseball." It's a mango hazy IPA.
Evil Genius is good too. Wow.
Evil Genius does a lot of good stuff. I don't drink a lot of IPAs, but good hazy, and like Evil Genius does a ton of good IPAs. So yeah, keep an eye out for that. And guys, we're gonna roll right into it. We're on video here. We're not even taking a break. Let's go straight into segment 2. I want to talk about the Bundesliga a little bit. Matches happening over the weekend. As my computer screen goes totally blank. Here we go. Borussia Dortmund. As soon as we want to give them credit, Union Berlin takes them down 2-1. Am I the only one that has no idea what to think of with Dortmund?
I laughed. I thought I did the Nelson Muntz haha.
This is who Dortmund are. They're more up and down than, I mean, obviously there's more up with them than down, but they always find a way to disappoint and fall out of the title race. I mean, obviously they're not out of it yet by any means, but a chance to beat Union Berlin, who's higher up in the table this year, and they just can't get it done.
I think the biggest red flag was the Stuttgart game, really. I mean, that was not even a pummeling. That was an embarrassment. I mean, that's the thing where it's like, they're barely beating Heidenheim. They're barely beat who Bochum, I think, was recently. But I think Heidenheim's playing at least good. But I don't know what it is. I don't know whether it's having Garassi up there and like relying too much on him now, or it's a clusterfuck, to put it lightly.
If we're gonna talk, meltdowns and what the fuck just happened, Leverkusen blowing a 2-0 lead in the second half against Holstein Kiel, like that can't happen. I mean, you're the defending champs. You're expected to repeat. A lot of us, at least, expected that. They didn't lose a lot. Nothing changed there, and yet they're blowing leads to newcomers who haven't shown a ton of fight. That just kind of goes to show. And then obviously our performance against Bayern, which was the big one on the weekend, this league is wide open right now. It is wide open. We're competitive against the team at the top. Eventually, we've exposed their weaknesses. Eventually, they're going to crack a little bit. This is an opportunity. I think the best team in the league right now might be Leipzig. They're the ones that have shown the most consistent play from week to week. As much as I hate to see it, Matt, you're shaking your head. You disagree?
I don't know. I think the most best team, I don't know. I think the best team is still Leverkusen. I think they'll figure it out eventually. I was going to say the most surprising team is Stuttgart because they're still kind of killing it with Demirich and Dennis Under. Like, that's the most surprising team to me after losing Gerassi.
I think I would say it's a little bit. I think Union are probably my most surprising team right now, considering that they're like conceding so few goals right now. I don't think it's going to completely last. The Leipzig for how few goals is surprising me, but Xavi Simon, Shesko, Openda are seeming to gel really well. So I think it all depends on when. I think they're maybe the most consistent when you look at maybe the three of Leverkusen, Bayern, and Leipzig. I will say though, Bundesliga graphics had a really rough day with Leverkusen and Holstein Kiel because when you watched the top there, Leverkusen's graphic was in red, Holstein Kiel's was in blue, but Bayer Leverkusen rolled out in their 120th anniversary black kits and Holstein Kiel wore red. So when the fact that my friends who don't even watch the Bundesliga can note that and comment that, yeah, that's pretty fucking weird, you guys.
I forget.
Also surprising me too. They are playing a lot better than I thought that they were. And they went into a tough place like St. Pauli and they smashed the shit out of them 3-0. So,
yeah. I was going to say to your point about the colors, I also noticed that the other week, I forget which game it was, but apparently the Bundesliga just has set color blocks for each team, which really doesn't make any sense. I know that they have like a little bar.
It's the narrow one you have to look at.
Yeah. But they really should just, for each game, have it the color of the jersey. It would make it a lot easier for someone who doesn't know the teams as well to be able to.
The Germans are a little stubborn, aren't they, Matt?
Well, I was going to say, I think that's more of a ESPN Disney situation because they do NBC has it figured out with all their teams with the colors and stuff like that. I don't know why Disney can't. So
it's the Bundesliga that packages. Yeah, it's a Bundesliga package feed, but that's an argument for a different time.
Well, then I guess in that
John,
point, maybe we're just not that simple-minded.
When HEFPod rules the Bundesliga, we'll do our own graphics package.
Yes.
John, at the beginning of the season, you talked about Stuttgart spending tens of millions of dollars, right? Trying to boost their situation in multiple schedules. Is this just a matter of them trying to work it out? And for what they brought in, I think they should be higher than 8th, but also it takes some time to put that all together. 3 draws in the first 5 or the last 5 could be a little concerning.
Yeah, I think that, we've seen Undav and Demirovic really show some quality this year. Obviously, both of them are scoring a lot of goals. I was kind of surprised that they spent, 20 million on El Bilal Touré from Atalanta because he was just very okay for them. But obviously they have 2 new center backs. Well, I guess Chase isn't technically new, but it's his first time fully starting. He's still really young. And then bringing in Jeff Chabot from Cologne, who's a good player, but, they need a little bit of time to gel at the back. And, they've allowed 11 goals so far this year. I think if they're able to figure out some of their defensive issues, that they'll be all right. Newell is still a great goaltender. Chris Furyk also hasn't really provided as much this year for them. He's a player that they need to get on form as well. But I think
they've been lucky with Furyk struggling that Malo has stepped up a bit. As a 10.
Yeah,
but I agree with. The attack's there for Stuttgart. They just you limit the goals, and you're going to be coming up. Great test for them after the break close against Bayern.
Mm-hmm. I think it's also pretty ballsy what Stuttgart did, considering what Union Berlin did last year by getting like Benucci and Gosens and almost relegating. And that's what I'm saying.
They had
they're
to shed a ton of salary.
Yes. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. I forgot about that. Yeah. On top of that too. Yeah. The fine and all that stuff. So, or point deduction.
That's something that we have to keep in mind too, the Eintracht situation, because I more than anyone don't care. It's not my money. The club's never going to disappear. Like there's no financial free fall and disappearance that, we're not going to do a Schalke. That it's an entirely different monetary situation in Frankfurt. I am strictly a fan. I'm not a financer. I just want to see them spend and be more competitive. But the warning signs are out there for other teams in the league that have tried to either qualify or boost their chances to be competitive in one of those competitions. And that's kind of the warning sign that you got to be careful to build it the right way. And that's why I love the group we have, because the discussion we're having right now regarding Omar Marmoush is how long is he going to be around? Because we know someone's going to be ready to drop $100 million to pick him up. And yet we're in a position, because of our smart business sense the last couple of years, where we can take our time with it. He's under contract. He's not unhappy here right now. So we're in a position where we can say thank you, but no to $60 million tomorrow if it's offered.
That seems to be the option with a lot of our teams, or a lot of our players, like Hugo Larsson, who we just extended last year too, because he's probably going to be $100 million man in like a year or two.
I want to know where are they getting that evaluation? Because
of the
like
additional
him as
years.
a player.
It's Yozel in contract and so forth.
And his eyes are on England. So anyone else would pay, add $20 million on top.
Exactly, because you have him under 5 years. So if anybody wants him now, it's literally have to be more than 120. But then next year, probably about the same. We'll have less years of it, but he'll probably add more value to it based on his performance.
I was just about to say, with his new deal last week, he's up. Larson's deal ends at 2028 now, right? Because I think he got it extended.
So yeah,
and
4 years.
That makes it even more valuable when someone wants to come by. We can ask for more because of the length of the contract.
Correct.
And no way are we advocating for a fire sale right now, because we're really happy with what we have.
No.
If anything, we want to build more depth. John, we got an international break here. Quite a few days to think about this men's team. What do you want to see coming out of the break? I mean, the next match is October 19th at Leverkusen. We all know what happens when we go to Leverkusen. They kick us in the balls, and then when we're trying to get up, they kick us in the balls again. So what can we do? Where do you see this group? Where's the most improvement needed for those not going out on international duty?
I mean,
loaded question.
I want you to take it. I mean, I'm posing this to all three of you, but take it whatever direction you see fit.
I want to see a little bit more consistency from our midfield. In that match, I want to see us control the ball a little bit more than we did against Bayern. I know that we did a decent job not allowing them to have some super amazing chances, but they still had a lot of shots on target, and that's something we can't allow against Leverkusen. We've seen their ability to score just insane long kicks, especially from Xhaka and Wirtz. Boniface can get in behind very easily. I would like to see a little bit more control in that game. Obviously, we just got to hope that the attack keeps on clicking. I don't know. I don't know if that game is going to be a whole lot different to start than against Bayern. I think that Leverkusen is going to come out and want to really control that game, and we've shown a willingness to sit back this year. I don't know. I would like to see us win the ball back faster, though.
Garret, your biggest concern coming into the break and what you want to see improve coming out?
Brian dropped it in the Discord today. Robin Koch did not go to Germany. He's got a hip injury. So how significant is it just going to be? He can rest up during the break and come back, or maybe because he hasn't been as solid as we've come to expect, maybe he needs a match off. You move Teat to center back position and you put like an Nkunku or a Brown in that left back role for the minute, to give Koch a match or two to get his hip healed and everything. I think it's just team defense. I'm not worried about team defense, a little more of the ball. I mean, we had 34% possession at Besiktas. Granted, Besiktas was going for it more. They were, their crowd was getting on their ass after their second horrific Europa League showing. But I think the ball a little bit more for us. Deciding is I'm not worried about Larson. I'm not worried about Ekatike. I'm not worried about Marmush. Is who do we need to look and see? Is it somebody other than Shaqiri that's going to be Hugo Larsson's partner in the center of midfield this coming year? And honestly, when it comes to Leverkusen, eat, pray, love. That's all you can hope for. It's been 10 years. It's been 10 years since we won at Leverkusen, right? So if there's ever a year to do it, right now, their form, why not this year?
Matt, question marks, concerns?
Definitely. I think my biggest I'm going to have is on Okawa Santos, just because I do think this is going to be kind of a similar game than to Bayern Munich, where they are going to just demolish us on the possession side, but we definitely can counter on it. So I'm going to look for Santos essentially on his decision-making skills, and not necessarily the ball distribution side of things, but coming out of the box on like cross-ins or corner kicks or that kind of stuff. So, or like when we possess the ball in the back. So I'll definitely be looking for that. I mean, there's going to be a lot of pressure coming in our back line. Even if Robin Koch is going to be out, I do have a lot of faith in Tiata and in Kuku back there, or even Aurelio Menda in there. So I'm not too worried about that. It's just we're going to be. I'm prepared for a very heavy Leverkusen possession game. I think our defense will hold on to it. I just hope they can, be strong with it with a, very confident keeper, because I could definitely see this result against Bayern Munich kind of get him a little overconfident on certain situations, but he needs to stay with the basics, because if we come out of a draw out of Bayern and Leverkusen, we are sitting in a very pretty spot.
Yeah.
I agree with all of you on all those points. I cannot complain about where this group is on any front, because this is miles ahead of where I expected us. I thought we could compete for top 4, but I thought it was going to take a little bit of time, especially with some younger guys in the midfield and the back line that are brand new. Christensen, for me, has been the biggest pleasant surprise. We knew the potential was there because I've seen a lot of him in Denmark, but this from him is really helping to carry the team in a way. But speaking of carrying the team, while you guys were talking, I did a little math. Omar Marmoush has been involved with 12 goals or 13 goals, 8 goals, 4 assists. So 12 goals, which is equal or greater than 13 teams total in the Bundesliga right now. 13 teams have 12 or less goals for the season. Omar Marmoush is literally better than the Bundesliga. And that's where I'm going to leave the discussion of this group right now. But I think we're deeper than him. Go ahead.
There's one thing that I'm not happy about. That we're having such a great season in those fucking kits.
The orange kits.
Okay. All right, hold on.
The orange kits are great.
The orange is better than expected, right?
I mean, you guys are from Detroit. You have to say that.
But yeah, I mean, what up? But I mean, Marlboro kit, the away kit better than expected. Plain white tea kit, as Nathan will call it, or as I call it, the ice cream kits. I mean, yeah, it's a down year for kits. It's a shame that it's such a down year for kits, and it's
guys,
such an
I'm going to be honest. Football. Kit talk is for those that can't win on the pitch. I don't care what they're wearing.
You got to lose some to win some.
Pinstripes for all I care.
Mm-hmm.
They could look like the New York Yankees with the ugliest uniforms in all of baseball.
Oh,
shit. They'd probably perform better than the Yankees too tonight. But anyway, guys, I think we're taking a week off. We got a bit here before the next one. Last thoughts from any of you, all of you. Matt, go ahead.
I think I'm going to leave it off by Frankfurt winning the Bundesliga and Marmoush, Ekatike, and Larson being the best trio we've ever had.
By the end of the season, Matt's going to say Ekatike the right way instead of the way that...
had it better than the ESPN graphic yesterday.
I was going to say, yeah.
That was funny.
He's pronouncing it the way that ESPN is putting it up on screen, which, again, just goes to show how wonderful they are. John, any last words?
You know what? It's been a great start to the season. I don't know if winning the Bundesliga is necessarily in the cards, but with how we've played so far this year, I think that competing for top four is absolutely a possibility. I think our game against Leverkusen is going to say a lot about this group, and hopefully we come back from the international break and have a good performance. But you know what? International breaks in the past have not always been the kindest to us, and obviously Leverkusen is not either. I still think this group is amazing, though, and the sky's the limit.
Yeah.
So everyone that's on international break with their countries and everything like that, all the best it can be, return back healthy as possible. It is the waves this week is cooled down, so it's a nice coastal wave this week for the lads. Keep riding it, especially when we come back. It's a good vibe so far. Like I agree with John. Depending on what our showing is, not our result, but our showing in Leverkusen 12 days from now will tell a lot of people what's the potential for this squad this year.
Yeah, I'm with all of you on all of that. I mean, I think we're happy with where we are. We hope for better. But, it's early in the year. A lot's going to happen, and so we got.
God, the Diva's going to bite us in the ass so hard.
Well, she will, but
we even talked about it on ESPN yesterday. That was great.
I feel like we have enough resources in place where we can kind of give her the middle finger. It's going to hurt when she bites, but then, we just got to bite her back in the kneecaps, right, Garret?
Damn right. Dallas, we're coming for you on Sunday.
Yeah. Oh, and I teed that up for him. Garret, we know you're going to take a whole segment for your social shout out. So where can people find you?
First off, Frauen this weekend, get it done on Monday. First, no recap the Adler on YouTube this weekend since the Frauen are playing on Monday. That'll just roll into whenever the next HEFPod that we're going to be doing. Eintracht Frankfurt, Detroit SKA, Twitter, Instagram, Discord at GM Comads. I'll spare you all the my other side gigs. It's because it's a lot.
I set that up for you specifically so you could do it.
Fine. Majors Detroit at TMSNX Detroit, YouTube, the Majors TV website, Detroit.themajorsports.com. Channel 451, 451 DET on Twitter. Now, Channel 451 on YouTube. Latest episode of Tunnel Talk for all Detroit City sicko content. Ready to review.
They should sponsor HEFPod for the amount of promotion you got going there.
I was just going to say, it sounds like we just did.
John, where you at?
Stuff.
Yeah, I'm on Twitter at Ben_JBen and on Instagram at JohnBen33.
And Matt.
You can find me on the Twitter space at Matt SGE New York, and then on the Instagram space at _Wagner8.
He's usually happier than this, but his Yankees are getting spanked by Brian's Royals right now. So maybe next week the Jets can keep it close and he'll be happy. So
can I just say that how glad we are that Brian's not on here, because I'm currently watching both his Royals and the Chiefs right now on this damn television.
Yeah.
I can only take one thing of Kansas City right now.
And you can find me at C and the D313, Peloton, Discord, X, and the others, at Chris N. Monroe on Instagram. And of course the show, HEFPod, HEFPod.com. Still working on a data partner there, but we hope to get that back soon because that was a big hit last year. You can watch past episodes there. We'll link our YouTube page there. No.
You just got to run on base. Yeah, there's a chance.
Anyway, you got a base runner. Congratulations.
Ty run batting.
X.com/HEFPod, and Matt's busy with Instagram at Hey Eintracht Frankfurt. By the way, we still got these autographs that John collected in Louisville. We got a great plan coming up for that. I'm going to talk about it here for 2 seconds. There's a lot of people that need hurricane relief in North Carolina. There's another hurricane about to hit Florida. Holy shit. We're going to pause 2 seconds live for this. Man, look at the camera. How do you feel right now?
Welcome to HEFPod video.
No, first one, and this is what we're doing here. This is real.
I
was going serious there for a moment too, though. I'm sitting on all these signatures that we collected, and we really want to give them out to people that need relief from Hurricane Helene or Hurricane Milton, which is about to go through Florida and really affect people of EFC Florida, EFC Atlanta that have been hit, EFC Carolinas. So what I'm going to do, there's no particular way you have to get in contact, but if you contact us through Instagram or directly through the website or through X, show me a receipt, a proof of receipt that you donated to the American Red Cross or any relief agency related to the hurricanes here in the United States, and I am going to send you an autograph HEFPod item from the Louisville trip. You're going to pick the player you want. You want Kevin Trapp, Omar Marmouche, whatever the situation is, you make the donation, and as long as we have the signature left from that player, we're going to send it your way. So that's the best way we can help people and use our tiny little platform here to help those that need it. So I made that executive decision on the fly. I think you all are good with it. Good.
Yep.
Thumbs up. I like it.
Great decision.
Right. Yeah. So take care of yourselves if you're in a hurricane prone area. And if you're not, we expect you to make donations to help those that are. And we will talk to you next week on the next episode, maybe on video, maybe not. We'll keep it a surprise on Hey on Track Frankfurt. Till then, choose. Can we cancel his flight and just wrap him in bubble wrap? Can we cancel his flight and just wrap him in bubble wrap?